Hey, have you ever wanted to learn how to fly and get a pilot's license? Well, hey, here in San Diego, pilots can fly almost every day, which makes San Diego one of the best places to learn how to fly in the world. And you can learn to fly with San Diego Flight Training International. You can check out the deal just for gun owner radio listeners. 1 hour of ground school, 1 hour of flight with an instructor. Yes, you can fly. And normally that's $400, but for listeners, that's going to be $350. You need to get started today. It's easy. Just give them a call at 858-569-1822. Learn to fly with SDFTI. That's 858-569-1822.
All right, Mike, that was awesome. Thank you so much. And also, you are a sponsor at Gun Prom, aren't you?
Yes, sir. It's my challenge to all other firearms instructors is Personal Protection Academy has a champagne table. Do you?
That's awesome. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. You jumped in early, too, man. I appreciate that very, very much.
Yeah, you guys are awesome.
If you guys don't know, September 16th is Gun Prom, so go to gunprom.com, buy your tickets. You can buy an individual ticket for $150, and that comes with a $50 opportunity drawing packet, or you can sponsor a table like Studley Mike here did. Both are appreciated, and it's going to be a good time. I think it's going to be a very, very, very good time. It's shaping up to be a good time. And you only have... well, it's not even 2 weeks. It's a week from Friday, which I think is the 8th. September 8th is when we stop selling. No more tickets after September 8th, which I believe is a week from Friday. So not the end of this week, the end of next week, you're done. Cannot sell any more tickets after the 8th. So go do it. Thanks, Mike. Sincerely appreciate your participation, coming all the way down, bringing your lovely wife, doing a table. I think it's awesome. Thank you.
Love it. You guys are worth it.
All right, now it's Miller time. So everybody,
it's not Bud Light.
No, I don't know anybody named Bud Light. Anyway, those of you who don't know, Jim Miller is on the Cajon Valley School Board out in El Cajon area, and he is a founding board member of San Diego County Gun Owners. He's an attorney. He is a scholar. He is an athlete. He is a really great guy. I consider him a friend. I hope he considers me a friend as well because I have so much respect for him. He's such a great man. And he is the Miller in the Miller case. Now, the Miller case is the case that's going to get rid of the assault weapons ban, which, of course, assault weapon is a bogus term. It's actually just a ban on normal semi-automatic rifles, long guns, actually, in California. So the Miller case is going to get rid of that. Even before the Bruin case, it's kind of interesting. The Bruin case, a couple of years, year and a half, something like that, before the Bruin case even happened, or the Bruin decision happened, Judge Benitez, St. Benitez, ruled in our favor and said, yeah, you're right. This assault weapons ban here in California is not constitutional. It was really interesting. I was actually in the courtroom, and they wouldn't let you take pictures. In a federal court. In fact, I was messing around on my phone, and the bailiff came storming over. He was not happy. So they wouldn't let you take pictures. But in my mind, in my head, inside my head, the Benitez. I wanted to take a picture of Benitez because he asked. He said, look, I'm not a gun guy. I really want to see what exactly are we talking about here. And so security went to their armory and brought him an AR pattern rifle, and he inspected it from the bench. And I thought, man, that's such a cool picture. Seeing Benitez inspect an AR at the bench. Anyway, that is the first time in U.S. history that a federal judge has said these assault weapons are unconstitutional. Of course, he had to, it got sucked up into an en banc and blah, blah, blah. A couple years later, the Bruin decision happened, and it was pretty much cut and paste from the Miller decision. The Miller decision that Benitez wrote was very much based on text and history and tradition. And I think he did that on purpose. I think he wrote this thing in anticipation of what Bruin was going to bring to the table, and sure enough, Bruin decision happened, and the courts, the Supreme Court basically said, "Hey, you need to relook at this thing," because it was kind of tied up, And the Ninth Circuit kicked it back to Benitez and said, "Hey, let's relook at this thing." So they had they had him come in and both sides, and we've been waiting for the decision ever since. I was telling people last December, any day now, and I don't know. People keep asking me, "Well, what's the holdup? Like, what are we waiting for?" I honestly don't know. Much smarter people than I have some theories, but even they're kind of going, "Gee, I don't know. We're scratching our head. Maybe he's really making sure that this thing's going to stick." But we did have a development the other day. The Giffords group, which is an anti-gun group named after Gabby Giffords, Firearms Policy Coalition announced the judge in our lawsuit challenging California's assault weapon ban denied Giffords' motion to file an amicus brief today. You can learn more by clicking here, et cetera, et cetera. So the Giffords Center said, "Hey, we want to do an amicus brief," which basically means we want to weigh in on this. We want to put our opinion in on this. And the judge said, "Nope, there's no need for that." There's absolutely no need for that, which I hesitate to get too excited. I never want to count chickens before the eggs hatch, but I think that's a good sign. Mike, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, if the judge says no, thanks for your efforts, but no thanks.
Yeah,
I think we're moving in the right direction, especially with Judge Benitez.
I think so too. Alicia, are you excited?
Absolutely.
What are you going to do? Let's say it's finalized. Assault weapons ban gone. What's the first thing you do?
Take off that fin.
Dear Lord, baby Jesus, take off the fin.
Take off that fin. It's there. So some of these features that they implemented as part of this and the assault weapons it has made so many of these ARs now, in my opinion, unsafe. The way that you the way to be compliant with the law, you have to separate and break your upper and your lower. Well, depending on the mechanism in which you do it, you actually have not rendered your firing pin inactive, and some of them actually can still fire while you're breaking that action. That fin, unless you have an ambidextrous safety, actually makes it more challenging and depending on your configuration, unsafe. You can't engage that safety in a reasonable fashion. Trying to disengage it, you have to kind of fumble at some point. And so some of these features have actually had the opposite effect, made them so unsafe.
It's
and frustrating.
The folks like Juggernaut Tactical and those guys that have come up with the different mechanisms that make it easier, which the state of California hates, that makes it easier to separate your firearm. They've actually made it safer. It's the state of California that made it unsafe. It's like you take somebody who's not an armorer, who doesn't know the inside of the guts of a gun, and say, okay, now you're going to separate your gun like it was intended. Now you're gonna put your sweaty hands all over some very intricate, detailed mechanisms that you should have no business touching.
I agree. I think that I had a fin on mine for a while. The thumb shelf made a big difference for me, made it better, and of course the ambi safety. Which I think they had to like install it upside down or something like that, or so that it was so you could hit it with your thumb, and such a dumb charade.
It forces people to get creative, and the creative people are going to find a workaround. It's let it be as it's intended to be. Let it be safe. Let it be functional. By creating a desire for people that need to kind of find these workarounds, you're creating some unsafe conditions. And
I thought it was interesting. I don't know why some anti-gun group this late in the game would try to weigh in on this. I don't know. Kind of ridiculous.
Fundraising.
Yeah, I'll bet you're right.
Yeah.
Dave, once we get this thing struck down, are we buying you an AR? You and me?
They're going to appeal it.
Well, of course they are.
I think they are. I mean, once it's final.
If I'm still here. You know how long? I mean, these people are dead set, right or wrong, to make every gun go away. So no matter, we go 2 steps forward, they push us 3 back. You go 2 steps forward because they've got a lot of people in government that are on their side.
I agree. The only thing is, it really does feel like, there were a lot of things leading up to Bruin. There's been a kind of a flurry of activity, not just legally, but, politically. And I proudly count San Diego County gun owners as part of that. But it feels like since Bruin, it's 2 steps forward for us, 1 step back. Where like you said, it was definitely, a step forward, 2 steps back. But it really does feel like, and it seems like things are going, I tell people for the first time in 15 years, I feel like I can see a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's not a train.
So let me ask you this, because I'm not a legal scholar. How many times can they appeal it before they can't appeal anymore?
Well, that's a good question. So, and the answer is it kind of depends on the path it goes. But the definitive answer is if it gets back up into the Supreme Court and they have to weigh in on it, that's it.
Then that's it.
Supreme Court, done.
Okay.
So it depends on,
They don't have to. They can't go to another jurisdiction because it's, this one didn't work, so let's go over here to this one, or let's go over here to this one, because we got 50 states.
Right. No, I once it gets up to that Supreme Court, done. And I don't know. What I don't know is, the Supreme Court already said, hey, that Miller case, take another look. So I don't think it's a matter of, it's not like it's a fresh new case.
Right.
They're already aware of it. They already said, hey, take another look.
So in other words, if they appeal it, goes to Supreme Court and said, you didn't do anything. It's the same thing.
My thought is, and I'm not a legal scholar either, but once the next decision comes out,
it's done.
I think that the Supreme Court will have their back, and then that'll be that. So we'll see, though.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching this clip from Gun Owners Radio. If you're watching mainstream media, you're not getting the truth about guns. Gun Owners Radio is the easiest way to stay on top of the Second Amendment fight, the fight for your self-defense rights. You can watch our live stream on YouTube every Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. California time, or if you're in San Diego, AM 1170, FM 96.1, The Answer. We're also available on your favorite podcast platform. Just search Gun Owners Radio and you'll find our show. Like and subscribe to help defend and restore the Second Amendment, not just in California, but across the country.